Hello and welcome to the Post to Post podcast. It is podcast number 57. My name is Neil. I'm joined here with Brent. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Better than the last two times. No mistakes this time. Crazy week of hockey, not just in the NHL, but across the seas as well, because we've got the Spengler Cup going on. We've got the World Juniors. Lots of hockey to talk about. The NHL got a little bit of a break over Christmas there, a couple of days. So
they're making up for it now.
They are. There's a ton of games on last night. Only one on today, which is
that's
little
weird.
Strange. So we're going to go through all the games from last night as we usually do. We have some stuff to talk about on this channel and the second channel, and some drama out of Dallas. I'll discuss that in a little bit. And of course, I'll do my players of the week and some streaks, and we'll go from there. So
right.
The first thing I want to talk about is the Stars news, because it's at the forefront of what a lot of people are talking about right now. We don't see this very often.
We don't.
In the NHL.
No,
We've
that's right.
seen it a couple of times from one specific team, Ottawa, but this time it's Dallas. So if you guys don't know what happened, the CEO of the Dallas Stars had some very questionable things to say about Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn.
Mm-hmm. And without repeating exactly what he said, because we really can't, not remain a family-friendly show.
No, we'd have to do a lot of bleeping.
Yeah, he said they were, in part, one of the things that a horse leaves behind.
Yeah.
The two of them, and that they were going to have to start earning their contracts. And this isn't anything new. Generally, I think general managers have said, and CEOs and other owners have said in the past, that players are paid for their future potential, for the length of their contract, not for past glory. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the disconnection is here. Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin have not been playing well, and admittedly, they have agreed that they're not playing well. But they were very, very careful when they were asked about the comments of Jim Lites. And, of course, the media is going to swarm to those two guys and ask them for their reaction.
Oh, yeah.
And the media did. They were very measured in their response. But it's not something you see. Like you say, you only see it in Ottawa. Basically, Jim Lites pulled a Melnick out of his hat and threw it on the table.
Now, we're not stupid. These conversations happen all the time, probably behind closed doors.
Oh yeah.
And sure, why not? They should. I mean, they have to be critical of their own team. That they want to win. So when something isn't going right, of course they're going to be a little bit critical. The problem is that he did it in a public setting, and that's not really acceptable in today's media world, because it just leads to a whole other road of garbage, or not garbage, but just there's just so much that comes with that comment. And he said it because he was frustrated, and he probably regrets saying it in public, but he did say it, and that 4 seconds of comment is causing so much heartache for the team. It's tough to take those words back once they're said. They're said forever. I don't think Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin will ever have the same opinion of that man again.
I think you're right.
I think that I don't suspect that they'll want to leave the team or anything like that, but I have a feeling that when their contracts come up, or when they feel like maybe it's time for me to move on, there won't be any hesitation where there might have been before, prior to those comments being said. So it's an unfortunate thing, because Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin are very good players, but they are having a bit of a tough stretch here. And the good news is they played really well last night.
They did. They beat Detroit 5-1.
Yeah.
Radulov got 2 goals, beauties too, just beauties. But as well as they played, I think that's a statement from the other players on the team. It certainly wasn't a statement for Benn and Seguin, because get this. Detroit beat Dallas 5-1. Seguin had an assist.
You mean Dallas beat Detroit?
Sorry, yeah. Dallas beat Detroit 5-1. Seguin had an assist, and Benn was off the score sheet altogether. On the plus-minus, they were both a 0.
Well, they're not getting the same ice time as they
used
to.
So clearly, Seguin was on one of the winning goals as an assist,
Yep.
but he's a 0. Therefore, he was on the ice during the one goal he got scored on.
Yep.
So neither one of these guys really factored into the score sheet. So I think it's the rest of the team that got behind these guys and said, we will step up as well.
Yeah, I think
and
so too.
And they did.
Yep.
They did a great job. We'll see. Hopefully, they got it out of their system now so that when Montreal plays them tomorrow night, they won't be so good.
Exactly, yeah. Can you imagine if Jordy Benn and Jamie Benn fought? Do you remember any situation where two brothers have fought?
I can't, but I'm positive there must have been.
I'm pretty sure that the Foligno brothers almost fought 2 or 3 years ago in front of the net. It didn't happen, but it like they were kind of going back and forth a little bit. But
And I imagine at some point that the Chucks are going to go at it.
oh man, they have to.
They've got to.
They have to.
They've got the reputation. They've got the DNA, and at some point they've got to unleash.
Get her done. I want to see that.
Yeah.
I'd pay tickets to go watch that. Next on my list is a little bit of a Panarin update. His agent came out and said that Panarin doesn't want to go anywhere this year. He not going to request a trade. He doesn't want to get traded.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to stay with the team for the rest of the year and see how the offseason goes.
But he also wants to very much remain a free agent when the year is over with. So
Exactly.
he's not even in the realm of a contract extension at this point. He's not talking.
No, he's not talking. He just wants to get to the offseason and see what his options are and go from there. I think that's a really smart play on Panarin. He's telling the team that he wants to finish the year with them.
Yeah.
That's important for the Blue Jackets players, the management, and the fans as well.
Mm-hmm.
If he was saying, I'm actively looking for another team, it's hard to cheer for. Like, can you imagine if like we're Canadiens fans,
Mm-hmm.
if one of the Canadiens players said that they're actively looking to go elsewhere, every time they touch the puck on the ice or every time they're on the ice, like it just devalues them as a team member. Like,
Oh yeah, totally.
so there's a lot of frustration even still with Columbus fans, I think, because
Mm-hmm.
if you're playing on the team, if you like it there, then sign. Like they just want him to sign. They want him long term. I understand that. There's definitely frustrations there, but I don't know. I don't see him sticking around. Hopefully he does for their sake, but I don't personally see him.
I don't either. I think he's laid the groundwork.
Yeah.
He gave Columbus a chance. He said back into September of this past year, that he had a certain deadline set, that Columbus could make him offers and talk to him, after which time he would consider himself not in a talking mode, I guess, put it that way. And the deadline came and went. Columbus didn't come up to him with anything that attracted him, for sure. And now he's in non-talking mode as far as after this year goes.
Yeah.
So I don't think any finger of blame has to point anywhere here. He's probably not sure what his value is right now. There's other contracts coming up. There's other players being negotiated. We see with the Nylander signing roughly what the valuation is for a high-end player. So that's good news for all players that are in this same situation as Panarin. But he's in no hurry. He knows, and I guess that's one of the luxuries of being a world-class elite player. You know that next season you'll be playing for a team and you'll be making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And,
oh yeah.
and that's the main thing, I guess.
The Gensel signing too, that sets the stage a little bit because he was signed for, is it $6 million per year, $5 million per year? I can't remember. It happened earlier this week. I've been watching so much non-NHL hockey that my NHL memory's a little weak at the moment. But yeah, so that's the update I have there. Not really much of an update. But
Gensel was $6 million.
$6 million.
Just
yeah.
looked it up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's his cap hit. I don't know what the individual things are. Just quickly back to the Dallas piece.
Okay.
There was another thing that they talked about on TV yesterday. Dallas is something like 23rd in the league in ticket sales.
Oh yes, yeah, they are.
And they're way up near the cap as far as their commitment. So I think some of the financial numbers, and that's what the CEO would be worried about, is he's seeing empty seats and he's seeing a lot of money going out the door, and he's not seeing what they paid for. You called it, I think, fairly accurately. in the fall when you're doing your predictions about how strong you thought Dallas would be. I think everybody thought Dallas would be strong. And maybe they'll gain that strength. They certainly have time to turn things around. But
they've just been so inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating because they have the players, they have the structure and the depth. They can't really get on. Like, they need to win 4 or 5 in a row to build that confidence and then work on that going forward.
Mm-hmm.
They need just to get on a little bit of a run like that, and they just can't do it. So frustrating for sure. I like Dallas, as most of you know, so definitely frustrating.
Yeah, $78 million plus is their payroll right now. Whew. And that's the cap hit payroll. That's a lot of dinero.
Spezza scored a nice goal last night. Well, I guess we'll get to it, but
yeah, Spezza, Radulov got 2. One of them was a power play. Pitlick scored, and there was an interesting play. Larkin scored for Detroit. Then it was actually another goal scored by Nyquist, but they ruled a goaltender interference. And that's a topic I wanted us to have a little chat about today, because they ruled that goaltender interference. There was another goaltender interference call from yesterday that we'll get to, but both of those calls, in my view, were very marginal.
I completely agree, actually.
The player just standing right on the edge of the crease and not really impeding the goalie at all, blocking his vision. That's their job. And they both, in both those cases, got called for goaltender interference. And then there was another call I saw later on where they did not call goaltender interference, and the player's stick was right, right on the goalie's neck.
That's the thing. There's no consistency whatsoever with these goaltender interference calls, and that was the problem last year. That was the problem the year before. It's been better this year, but there's still problems, and they need to fix it, because we can't keep going on like this, because it's going to happen in a playoff game or in a very important elimination game or something, and a team's going to get eliminated by one of these calls, and it's going to be the incorrect call. It has to stop.
It really, there has to be a come to reckoning moment with all the GMs, all the officials, the league, everybody, to find out what the predictable rule is going to be for that infraction and for a few other infractions, frankly.
Yeah, they need to make it black and white.
They really do. They really do. It used to be black and white to a crazy extent, because if there was any part of the player's anatomy,
skate or whatever,
the skate or anything in the crease, whether it was even near the goalie, they would rule it down. And a whole series, possibly even a Stanley Cup, changed on that.
The Brett Hull
case. So that was a little crazy on the over-aggressive side.
Yeah.
And then they loosened that up. But now it's loose. And now it's just the opinion. And even after they go through replay after replay, and both of those calls that I watched, one of them was a game I was watching in its entirety. The announcers in the booth were like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a good goal," and they were absolutely thunderstruck when the referee came back out, no goal. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it either.
It's really frustrating. It just, as a hockey fan, I mean, if it goes against your team, that there's even more frustration there. But as a hockey fan, first to watch, I don't know if people like. Does the average viewer? Maybe you guys can answer in the comments. Does the average viewer, you guys, do you watch more than just your team, or do you just specifically watch whoever your team plays? Do you watch other hockey outside of your team?
That's a good question.
I'd like to know, actually.
Up until 2 years ago, my answer would have been no. Other than maybe the New Year's outdoor game and in the playoffs, I'd watch other teams, because my team was often not in the playoffs. But during the regular season, I would only watch Montreal games. Now, I still watch all the Montreal games, but I find myself watching other hockey. It's just so darn good and fun to watch. And it's almost more fun to watch teams that I don't cheer for, because I don't lose.
You're not emotionally invested
That's right.
in the success of any of the teams, so you can just watch it as a hockey fan.
I can just enjoy the purity of the play.
Exactly.
Be very impressed by dangles and moves and whatever. And I love watching the art of the game.
Hashtag dingles and dangles. Just quickly before we get into the Saturday game recaps, I just want to talk a little bit about this channel and our other channel, More Post to Post. There wasn't a lot of hockey content on Post to Post this week because I was doing some personal work. I shot a video for a wedding back in August, and it should have been delivered and edited about 2 months ago. But I started my new job, and it's just been absolutely crazy. It's not an excuse. It's unacceptable. So I've been spending the majority of this week working on that video and hope to have it completed pretty soon. I had to sacrifice a little bit of post-to-post time for that because the bride and groom are waiting. So
Yeah, well, and they should be.
And
they expect a product.
yeah, and they're not angry. They're super
No.
super good about it. They said like no rush, but still
Well, you're a media superstar. You've got
a
to
media superstar.
you've got to
Lord.
block off time in your schedule. Plus, there was other little things happen, like the birth of Jesus, and
The birth of Jesus was a significant event the past week. Yeah,
Because in your case, it involves some travel, because you're visiting friends and
yeah,
so on. So you're out on the roads a lot.
yeah. And then
Yep.
last night I was at some Office trivia, or the show The Office. It was trivia on that show, and then this morning I played some hockey. I don't know if you can see, I've got a slap shot related injury.
Now, when he first showed me the slap shot related injury, I thought, why are you putting your ungloved bare hand out in front of
block
or not
shot.
ungloved, but unpadded hand to block a slap shot, someone else's slap shot? Oh, no, that wasn't how it happened.
It was for my own slap shot.
His own slap shot. His own slap shot had such power,
Yeah,
such force,
crazy,
that it actually created a bruise.
amazing.
Fantastic.
Sign me
You
up.
still got it, you know.
I know. I won't tell you how many times I missed the net though.
That's not the point.
So anyways, I just want to give you guys a heads up of what's coming to this channel and our second channel in the next 2 weeks. As far as videos, there's going to be lots of hockey card videos. I still need to do, I think, October's Patreon hockey cards. I have to do November's. I have to do December's. No, maybe it's October. It's September, October, November
Holy.
that I have to do. And then once this month is over, I'll order more. But I have a bunch of card boxing videos to do. So there'll be 3 coming out probably in the next 2 weeks. Keep an eye out for those. I do apologize that it's taken me so long to do them. I was waiting specifically for the new series to come out for this upcoming year. It's out. And there's 6 boxes on the way.
Ooh,
So I'm very excited about that.
All right.
I'm going to be doing a video on the Tampa Bay Lightning's dominance. You could probably expect that later this week, this coming weekend, or early this coming week. Early the following week, sorry. I have an NHL trivia video planned. I actually have the questions just to the right of me here. Those are for you. There's 10 questions, and here's how it's going to go. I'm going to ask you a question.
And I'll get it wrong. Here's how it's going to go.
I'm going to say a fact, and you have to tell me what team I'm talking about.
Oh,
So-
okay.
All the answers are teams. We're going to do it that way. There's only 10. Some of them are really hard, and some of them are fairly easy. So
Okay.
I'm not expecting you to get full points, but you should do 5 out of 10 probably. I'm thinking.
That's my target then.
Also, I'm going to try and do the Denmark logos. We've had that prepped for 6 months. We haven't done it, so hopefully we get that done. And I have 4 videos planned for the second channel: 70s trivia, 80s trivia, 90s trivia, and 2000s trivia. We have some other sports logos to rank on the second channel. That's coming up. We have one more bad driving video to release.
All right. I love those.
That's already filmed. If you guys haven't seen the first 2 bad driving videos on the second channel, I show Brent some footage that I've taken on my dash cam. He's never seen it before, and he just basically reacts to it and commentates it.
I rant in real time.
You rant, a real-time rant.
It's great
Yeah.
fun.
And that's on the second channel. If you want to have a laugh, go check out those videos. They're pretty funny because your reactions are comical. We have another Where Am I video coming up, and we're actually going to be working as a team because we have a third-party person finding images for us, and then we're each going to look at the image and try to work together and figure out
I'm really looking forward to that.
where the heck it is.
A father-son collab.
Yeah, so
I like it.
that'll be fun. That's coming in the next 2 weeks as well. So keep an eye out for those, and there might be the odd other video pop up. We don't know what's going to happen. So there's going to be some gold medals handed out here in a little bit. So I'm sure there'll be some videos on those as well. If we move on to the games from last night, there is a metric. I can't say what I want to say. I was going to swear.
Oh, can't do that.
There was a lot of games on last night. The first game was an afternoon game.
A metric what?
No, I can't say it.
Okay.
New Jersey and Carolina. New Jersey won 2-0. So many breakaways and 2-on-1s in that game. Giveaways, big saves. The goaltending was really great in this game.
I watched the whole game.
What'd you think?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. And this is the game with the other goaltender interference call.
Yeah, it had a bit of a playoff vibe too.
Really did.
I felt like it was a pretty fast-paced game. So.
Yeah. No, it was great. With a minute 18 left, Teravainen, with Williams as the screen, scored a goal, and they called it no goal.
Yeah.
And the referees called it no goal, and then there was a coach's challenge, which confirmed the no goal, and neither one, in my view, was the right call.
I agree.
There was no goaltender interference.
I agree.
There was no contact.
Let us know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with us.
He was in the crease briefly, and then he moved back out of the crease, but even though he was still a smidgen in the crease, or at least one skate, he was not impeding the goalie in any way.
You're allowed to stand in front of the goalie. Like, that's the point of screens. Like,
yeah. Now, I'm not upset that it was called no goal, because actually what it did was preserve Mackenzie Blackwood's shutout.
Yeah, and he had an excellent game.
Unreal. He's the third. This is only his third game. He beat Boston Thursday night, and he was like 5-2 or something, and then he gets a shutout. He's the the sixth New Jersey. I have a quiz questions for you. He's the sixth New Jersey Devils goaltender to record a shutout in his rookie season. The sixth. So I want you to tell me the other five.
Good.
Yeah.
Martin Brodeur.
Yep, you got one. You're 1 for 1.
Who else played for New Jersey other than Martin Brodeur?
There's a few.
Is Kincaid one?
Nope.
I didn't think so.
Kincaid's not one of them on this list.
I honestly don't remember who played net for. I don't know.
Sean Burke?
I wouldn't have guessed
I
that.
mean, neither. I wouldn't have guessed any of these ones, by the way. Wedgwood.
Oh, yeah, that's probably one I should have.
That's Wedgwood and Blackwood.
A lot of Woods.
A lot of Woods.
And then Kyle Wood.
Yeah. Dunham. Dunham got a shutout in his rookie season when he was playing for the Devils.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
And the last one is that I didn't even know the guy, Saint Laurent.
I wouldn't have guessed that either.
Yeah. But it was a really good game. It was only his third career start, and he made 37 saves. And
So quality saves, like breakaways, 2-on-1s, like these are big, important saves.
yeah, Zaka got a shorthanded goal to start the scoring.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was a beautiful
He just
goal.
blew by that defender there along the boards. And
Yeah. And did you see the Green goal, pass from Heischer to Green?
I saw it. I don't remember
Yeah,
specifically.
it was really pretty as well. So it stood up. It was good. Very good.
The next game, the Vegas-LA game,
I watched that too in its entirety.
this was a huge win for Vegas because LA is an extremely good home team. They rarely lose in the Staples Center, and Vegas won 4-1. And I felt like Vegas played very opportunistic. Anytime LA made a little bit of a mistake, a little bit of a giveaway, Vegas just went from almost standing still to just everyone skating up the ice. Very opportunistic, and they just pounced on every single LA mistake. And it was just too much for LA to handle.
Mm-hmm. It was, and there was a funny thing went on yesterday. Fox Sports West did the broadcast, and it was part of their Hockey Day in SoCal day.
Okay.
So they did the Vegas Kings game, and later on they did the Ducks game, and they had some other midget stuff and other hockey content in between. So it was like we've seen Hockey Day in Minnesota. We obviously have Hockey Day in Canada. This was Hockey Day in Southern California. But it was interesting. One of the guests they had on the broadcast was Andy Lassner. Now, do you recognize that name?
I do not.
He's the producer for The Ellen Show. And he's a huge LA Kings fan. Now,
Really?
Andy Lassner, you've probably seen him in these Halloween scare videos where Ellen makes him go through a haunted house.
Okay, I know exactly
with
what
a
you're
star.
talking
So
about.
a guy with glasses, and he's really funny. He's a really interesting guy. But he is a massive Kings fan. He started out following hockey when he was living in New York. Someone took him to a Rangers game. And he just thought it was the coolest thing he ever saw in his life. So he started off as a Rangers fan. But eventually he moved to the West Coast and had a family of his own, started taking his kids to games. And these would be Kings games. And he became a huge Kings fan. And now he is massive.
Wow.
Massive. So he's always sitting by the glass or standing somewhere. And he's a popular, well-known guy. So he has connections to probably get good tickets and seats and things. I imagine he's a season ticket holder. And he's got his Kings jersey on. And for a while, they interview him down by the glass, and then they bring him up to the booth.
Oh, really?
So he starts off, I think it's the second period, with the two announcers, and he's sitting between them. And they're right up in the broadcast booth. And he's just going on about how fantastic the view is from up here and how great it is, and it's the best moment of his whole life. And
wow.
He's buying into this. And while the two announcers are talking to him, the L.A. mascot comes up behind him.
It scares him.
And scares him. Scares the living daylights out of him.
That's awesome. Is there a video of it?
There is.
I need to see it.
Yeah.
I need to see it.
It's really good. And, of course, you know what he's like when he's scared. He just hollers and screams. And so there was a hockey game there, too. But I really enjoyed his reaction to the game. He's a Kings fan, obviously, and they didn't do well. But one of the funny things he said early on in the first interview was that when he first heard that Vegas was getting in the league, he thought, this is great, another team nearby, Vegas, good for them. And then they went all the way to the finals, and they beat L.A. 4 straight to get to the finals. He said, I never thought I could hate a team as much as I hate the Vegas Golden Knights.
Wow, really?
I hate them. I hate them. And when he was doing some of the play-by-play, he was obviously a homer, so he'd say, okay, guys, come on, we can do this, we can do this. He was talking like that.
Yeah.
It was really fun to watch, to see a fan experience the game like he was experiencing it, even though it was a loss. It was great.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was
That's
really
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Anything else on that game?
Nothing. There were some great plays, and I think all the goals were nice. I made some notes here.
I think Carlson had a nice goal.
Carlson had a beauty. It was on a breakaway.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And Subban is back, by the way. Or Malcolm Subban is back in net. This is the first game he's actually won. It's his 6th start. He's lost all 5 until this game yesterday, and he actually won it. And you could see how the players were swarming him at the end of the game, congratulating him for winning.
Vegas has played really well in the past 2 months. They're 13-3-3, I think, or something.
They're third in their
close to that. Yeah,
they're third in their division now.
For the first time this year, they're on the wall behind us as the top. The top 8 in the league. So,
and they're playing Arizona today, and because they played Subban yesterday, I presume they're putting Fleury in, unless he's hurt. I don't think he is. So they have a good chance today, I would think. And they're finally coming around. They're off to a slow start, but things are happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, the San Jose-Edmonton game was interesting because usually when San Jose and Edmonton play, it's an extremely, extremely late game. Like it starts at our time, like 11 or 11:30, and we can never really watch it. But San Jose dominated that game 7-4. It was, I believe, 7-2 for a while there until the end. Edmonton looked bad positionally. I felt like they were standing still a lot, doing a lot of puck watching. I felt like I was watching Montreal Canadiens from last year. They were leaving a lot of guys open, and just like there was one where Talbot left the ice. He not left the ice. He left the net to go play along the puck along the boards. You probably saw this goal. And he lost it and skated back to the net. And the San Jose player that was behind the net passes out in front to Melker Karlsson, I think, was coming off the boards. And Melker Karlsson was in the middle of 4 Edmonton defenders, and they were all just basically standing there. And he walked in and scored. Like, he just... They were just standing there. Like, I'd be so frustrated.
This was Erik Karlsson's first game back after his 2-game suspension. Last week in the podcast, we talked about how he had this hit, and neither, or at least I didn't think it was going to warrant any supplemental discipline.
And I agreed.
And he got 2 games.
Yeah.
Woo. Anyway, he was back, did very well. He had a great game.
4 points.
Great game. And his goal was beautiful. Logan Couture, Donskoy, Hurdle, Melker Karlsson scored twice in the third period. And Couture scored again, shorthanded in the third. Just a bad, bad day for Edmonton.
Real bad. They're on a bit of a losing streak, too. I believe they're 5 games in a row. The Minnesota-Winnipeg game, Minnesota won 3-1. This was a massive win for Minnesota because Winnipeg is a very good home team. Winnipeg just had some defensive lapses there early in the game, and Minnesota capitalized. And that was basically it. Disappointing because I predicted that Winnipeg would win that game. I'm not disappointed that Minnesota lost. Or one, I like Minnesota, but my prediction was wrong. So disappointed.
Well, that's no
there.
good.
I
You
know.
can't have that.
I know. I was doing good this week too. But yesterday,
Yesterday.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, there was 13 games.
It was
That's
bad.
Unlucky 13.
It was. I did so bad.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Winnipeg's goal didn't come till very late. And Laine got it, and it was too late to do any difference.
He didn't even really celebrate.
No. No, certainly didn't.
Boston played Buffalo. A very, very important interdivisional game there.
And the one thing I didn't want to happen,
To go
friggin' happened.
Yeah.
A 3-point game.
3-point game.
Good grief.
So Boston won 3-2. They never led in the game at all until that overtime goal. Very impressive late push by Boston. Awesome comeback by them. And a very important win because now they're only just, I think, 1 point behind? Or 1 or 2 points behind Buffalo.
Yeah, they're 1 point ahead of Montreal.
Yeah, in the
now,
standings.
'cause
So
Montreal lost. Yeah, 1 point behind Buffalo and 1 point ahead of Montreal.
Yeah.
And the Islanders are just right knocking on the heels there, too. So it's going to be, there's a lot of teams fighting over those 2 wild card spots. Montreal, Boston, whoever's not in third place in the Atlantic, and that might be Buffalo, we'll see. And then, of course, the Islanders there, too. So.
I think very shortly we will see the Islanders in a wild card position or third in their division and Montreal pushed out of the playoffs entirely.
That's imminent.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
If they don't beat Dallas on Monday night and the other teams
Yep.
play the way they're playing, Montreal's out.
Yep,
For now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the most interesting game of the night as far as matchup is probably the Islanders-Toronto game because it was the first time that Tavares faced his old team. And boy, oh boy, did the Islanders... did they show that they did not need Tavares?
Yeah.
4-0 win over Toronto. They don't need him. That's what they said. That's what they showed. We don't need you. Have a loss.
And did you hear about the comments I think it was Lamoriello had made prior to the game?
I did not, no.
Yeah, he basically said something to the effect that last year Tavares' teammates made it clear that they wanted him to stay, but he made it clear that he didn't want to stay with them. He made it personal. And some of the guys on Hockey Night in Canada reacted very negatively to those comments last night because, no, it wasn't Lamoriello. It was Barry Trotz had said it, maybe. Maybe it was Trotz. Or it doesn't matter who it was. But anyway.
Your brother.
Get away. Your uncle.
Yeah.
Because Trotz himself went for the money. He left Washington and went where there was maybe more money or just different money. Anyway, the comment did not go down well, at least with the media, that he had said that. He was clearly still feeling some bad vibes about Tavares' decision to not re-sign with the Islanders. And I thought that might have injected a little bad karma into the Islanders' performance, but it did not. Barzal, natural hat trick in the third period.
Leonard was great.
Leonard was great. And fabulous. Fabulous. Yeah, it was a really statement game from the Islanders. And it's a game I didn't want them to win.
As interesting as that game is and was, I think the more interesting game is going to be when they play each other in or on the island. I think that the reception that the organization puts on for Tavares could go one of two ways. I think it's going to go in the way that everyone expects it to, but I'm curious of Tavares' reaction.
The Islanders will show some class. They'll have a nice video package up on the screen, maybe once or twice during the game. Tavares will raise his stick. The fans will politely clap. And then I think the Islanders are going to take the living tar out of Toronto.
Because there's a little bit of bad blood there.
Yeah. Because
it's not like... I'm going to use the Subban situation, for example. Subban was traded from Montreal. He didn't decide to leave.
Right.
Tavares decided to leave. When Subban came back to Montreal, they did a little thank you video, and Subban cried.
Yeah.
And before that game, I don't want to see Tavares crying during here because he made the decision to leave.
That's
Obviously,
right.
it was a very difficult decision. but different situation.
When Carlson came back to Ottawa with San Jose, they put on a pretty good package for him.
Yep.
And I think he was a little choked up about it, but he was in the same situation. He chose to sell himself out. That's not.
He
fair.
was traded, but
he
wanted
but
he wanted to be.
He
traded.
basically was behind the wheel
Exactly.
of that trade. But he was a little bit emotional. But I think you're right. I think Tavares will be. I just don't see Tavares as an emotional guy anyway. He's a bit of a closed book.
Probably on purpose.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think you have to be.
He's good at it. Like he's kind of like Jonathan Taves that way. He's a very Mr. Serious kind of player.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
The game after that I have is the Washington-Ottawa game. Washington won 3-2. They were hit 3-0, and Ottawa actually almost came back in that game.
Yeah, they did well. I was surprised to see Ottawa come back in there.
Yeah.
And the last one was 3.5 minutes left in the third when Stone scored. That was a beautiful goal.
It was, yeah.
And Ottawa had some life. It was 3-2. Here we go.
Crowd was into it.
Crowd was very into it. And then, anyway, nothing happened after that. They were all disappointed, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay and Montreal game, Tampa Bay won 6-5. You can do most of the talking about this one because I know that you watched it in its entirety and it was frustrating. We talked a little bit about it earlier off camera, but take it away.
It's a clean show, so I'll keep it that way. No, it's not. I actually didn't feel all that bad about Montreal's performance. I felt very badly about how the game ended, how it turned out. But Montreal got off to a good lead, just like they'd done the night before when they were playing the Panthers. They got the first 2 goals. They were rolling along. I knew that wouldn't last, but they had done quite well. Shaw and Shaw and Agostino scored within 16 seconds of each other, and then make it 2-0.
That second one, I believe it was a fake. It wasn't really a fake shot, but it was a intentional fake shot pass by Ben to Agostino, and those little plays like that are the game is so fast.
Yeah,
it's amazing that someone can make a decision to do that and be so accurate with it, and you see it a lot. You need to appreciate those little tiny things in hockey.
And it was these players, the Shaws, the Bens, Kulak got a goal, Agostino got a goal, Shaw got 2, or no, Ben got 2. Excuse me, no, it was Shaw. The working players, the blue-collar guys, really delivered for Montreal last night. And they were ahead. They were ahead 5-4 with only a few minutes left in the game. I have to take a sip of coffee.
I'd say so. You all right over there?
Not really.
What's going on?
Getting a little choked up, maybe. But they were ahead 5-4. Here they are playing the best team in the league, without doubt.
By far.
The best team in the 31-team NHL in their own rink, where they have not lost, I don't think, ever, the way it's looking. And they were ahead several times during the game. They had a 2-0 lead for a while. Late in the game, they were ahead 5-4. Tampa Bay did tie it up, and then, of course, scored the winning goal, made it 6-5 with only a minute and change left to go. What a heartbreaker. At least if Montreal could have got it to overtime and stole a point out of that would have been great. But I don't feel badly about how they played. I thought Niemi didn't have a chance on some of the goals that were scored against him. I don't think it was a Carey Price-Niemi game changer. I don't know if Price would have made a difference there.
I don't know. I agree to an extent, but I thought Niemi, his lateral movement is really slow. Once he goes down once and has to get back up, he's really slow at that. So I felt like there was 2 goals specifically where his slowness kind of was the reason that the puck went in the net. I don't know. I mean, there were other shots that he saved that Carey Price would have let in, and we can't say.
You just don't know.
You don't know. So
yeah.
But
Niemi seems to do this thing where if the puck hits him, he just lunges forward. He just lunges forward down onto the ice. That seems to be his move. And usually the puck's underneath him somewhere, and then the play gets blown dead. But he really, like you say, he doesn't have a lot of lateral movement. He has a lot of forward movement. He just falls flat in his face when he needs to.
it's gravity.
He's doing what he can. But, man, it was tough. The second goal that Tampa Bay scored, Tatar made a horrendous giveaway.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Horrendous. And when I look at the game, your Drouins, your Gallaghers, and Lehkonen, I don't know how many goalposts there were. It was just so annoying. But Kotkaniemi played a great game. They all played well. There were some bad giveaways, but Montreal was a victim of its own bad giveaways, and its own mistakes led to them losing that game.
And you can't do that against any team, but specifically Tampa Bay, because they can roll four lines.
Yeah.
Whoever they put out on the ice is deadly. They will. If they're down 4-0, if they're down 6-0, it doesn't matter, because they have the ability to come back. Like, you can't. If you have a 4-0 lead against Tampa, it doesn't mean anything.
That's right.
Honestly, it doesn't mean anything, because they can come back. They can strike with whatever player they want. Like, usually Stamkos is the guy for the one-timer, but Kucherov had a beautiful one-timer goal last night. It was absolutely, literally perfect. It was one of the nicest shots I've ever seen.
Yeah, Victor Hedman fed him, and it was just, it happened so fast.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, power play goal.
And there's a player who's been on fire this year, and you can't let your guard down against Tampa.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was a set play right off the face-off. So Shaw or somebody had gotten in the penalty box and didn't even have time to sit down.
Yeah.
They dropped the puck. It was Hedman back to Kucherov and slam.
Yeah.
It was 3 seconds into the penalty, and the guy was back out of the box.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That had that stick flex, and the puck didn't even wobble in the air. It was literally perfect. So.
Yeah, Tyler Johnson's goal came 38 seconds later.
Yeah.
And Sergachev got the assist on that. And that was a really pretty goal, too. And that really put the nail in it. That was where Tampa went up 4-3. And then Montreal scored 2 in a row fairly close together. Kulak scored, and only 52 seconds later, Shaw got his second goal from Lehkonen. It was beautiful.
And then it was 5-4 for a while.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
And then Ernie. I don't know where Bert is, but Ernie got 2 goals.
Ernie had a good game.
Ernie had a great game,
yeah.
including the game-winning goal with 1 minute and 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
And they played very, very well, no question. And like you say, if you're going to make a mistake, that's the worst possible place to do it.
Yeah.
It's Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Now, the other Florida State team was in action last night. The Florida Panthers played the Philadelphia Flyers. Florida won 2-1. I thought the goaltending in this game on both sides was very good. Hart played amazing. He made some huge saves. Reimer was great as well. Reimer's really hot and cold. I've never really trusted Reimer as a goaltender. Sometimes he comes out and he plays amazing. Sometimes he's just an absolute stinker. But last night he was great. Did you see the face-off numbers in this game?
I did. 71% for Philadelphia.
71%.
And there's a few games last night where the team that won had the crappiest face-off percentage and the lowest shots on goal.
Yes. There's another example in here I have written down. Calgary was 64% last night in the face-off dot.
Yeah, and lost.
And like Philadelphia, like that number doesn't surprise me. Philadelphia is one of the best, if not the best, face-off team in the league. And 71 is it's
insane.
It's a little scary, but
it's like playing NHL playing a Pee Wee team.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia actually had that game in hand for most of the game.
Yes, they did.
They scored early, and the second period was scoreless, and Philadelphia went into the third period with a 1-0 lead and played very well. And Hoffman scored in a power play to tie it.
He's such a good fit in Florida.
I'm so happy for him.
Yes, I am too.
It was a very questionable situation in Ottawa, and I'm so happy that it moved in his favor. Now, he's I don't know if he actually played for San Jose, but he went through San Jose's organization as part of the deal. But he's thriving in Florida. Good for him.
It's a team that you can underestimate because it's like, it's the Florida Panthers, whatever. They are deadly. Like, you can't. It's kind of like Tampa. Like, obviously they're not like Tampa, but they have players on the lineup that can strike. Like, you can't. You need to be on them all the time. You can't give them open space.
No,
because they'll take advantage of you.
And with 1 minute left in the game, Huberdeau scored the game.
Yeah.
Huberdeau scored the game-winning goal, and they won 2-1.
Yep.
So really, Philadelphia never had a chance to come back. Florida put the knife in them too late in the game. Philadelphia couldn't react.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was a good game.
It was
really good game.
The other game was Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Pittsburgh won 6-1. They chased Allen. It was a very tough night for him.
Yeah.
I thought Murray played unbelievable. He made some great stops.
He was great.
St.
Allen
Louis
let 4 goals in 17 shots.
He did, yeah, and he got pulled and
Binnington went in. And,
he was lit up too, though, a little bit.
yeah, he let 2 in.
St. Louis, Allen didn't play well. He should have been pulled, but St. Louis so often will just leave guys open defensively. They're just so frustrating to watch sometimes. But they're not always like that. They're just so inconsistent. It drives me crazy. But
and the one goal that St. Louis did score, this is that other weirdo goaltender interference play.
Yeah,
where Murray had the blade of someone's stick right in his neck when the puck went in. Otherwise, he would have had a shutout. And they ruled that no goaltender interference.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I know, it's so frustrating. Yeah. Anyway, the Rangers faced Nashville. Rangers won 4-3, upset Nashville, 6th loss in a row for Nashville.
Wow.
In Nashville.
Wow.
Nashville doesn't lose in Nashville. They're a very good home team, kind of like L.A. and Winnipeg. Nashville's very good at home. Sorry for the pause there. Brain fart. But problems in Nashville. Man, it's tough.
PK Subban's back. Do you know this is the first regulation road win for the Rangers this season?
Wow.
Yeah. They've had a few 2-point takeaways, but they've been overtime or shootouts.
We're approaching 40 games here.
Yeah. That's their first road win in regulation. And they did it to Nashville.
That's actually unacceptable.
It's totally unacceptable. Lundqvist against Rinne, a real goaltender battle. They were, despite the fact it was 4-3, so there's some pucks going past the goalies. They played well.
Some veterans going at it.
Both of them. And Nashville outshot the Rangers 37-22. Still lost the game.
Still lost the game.
It's crazy.
Yeah, these odd stats.
And New York scored 4 goals. Mika Zibanejad assisted on all 4 goals.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's actually having a pretty good year.
He certainly is, yeah.
The next game was the Dallas-Detroit game. We talked a little bit about this already, but Dallas won 5-1. To me, Detroit just looked tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Bernier looked tired. The entire team looked tired, but they didn't play the night before, so I'm not sure if they were jet-lagged or something, or they just
I don't know.
all didn't sleep well, or what they ate wasn't good, but they just looked tired. I don't know.
It had the poops.
And Dallas was also trying to send a message. So there's that.
Yeah, there was that extra chemical mix
There's
in
more,
the dressing room.
there was more to the game than just Dallas versus Detroit.
Detroit was the victim of Dallas trying to make a statement against anybody.
I think it wouldn't have mattered who Dallas played last night, I think.
Yeah,
Dallas probably would have won.
Yeah.
Chicago had a huge win last night against Colorado, 3-2. And this is the thing with Chicago. They have flashes of competitiveness that just bring you right back to where they were 7 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever. It's just they have most of the core still there, and they're able to produce in these situations. You're like, that's the guys. Here they are. I know these guys. I've seen this before. They'll do it one game, and then the next game, it's like, where are they?
Where'd they go?
But you see those flashes, and you just think it's still there. They can still do it if they can be consistent. They can be the exact same competitive team that they were once.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I agree. They are riding a 2-game winning streak. Ooh. And they're putting together some good stuff in the last little while.
They are. They're getting used to the new system with the new coach and stuff. So
they're 6-3-1 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, watch out.
Yep.
It's not impossible for them to come back and make a push here. Now, we have 2 games left. The Arizona-Anaheim game was next. Arizona won 5-4. I thought Sprong has been playing very well for Anaheim. And we said this even before Sprong was traded. We said this probably a year before Sprong was traded. Why isn't Pittsburgh playing Sprong?
Yeah.
It's because Pittsburgh's so deep, but Sprong really got the short end of the stick there. He missed a lot of quality hockey early in his career. He should have been in the NHL for at least 2 years now, I think, in my opinion. So it's great that he's getting his chance in Anaheim, and he's playing extremely well, putting up lots of points. And this game specifically, I thought there were so many weird bounces and giveaways by Anaheim. It
was odd.
They would give away the puck in an awkward play or something, and then they just kind of gave up. Or it's almost like they're waiting for the whistle to be blown or something. Like, it was weird, but anyway.
And it was all kinds of scoring. Second period, there was 5 goals scored between the two teams, and to tie the game, and it was 4-4 all the way through the third. Nobody scored forcing it into overtime.
Yeah.
It was an oddball game.
It was very
Really
strange. Yeah.
But this is another case where Anaheim had 66% of the faceoffs and 41 shots to 30 and lost the game.
And lost the game.
What? What's with that?
Yeah.
Sprung did well. He got a power play goal.
Yeah.
And Anaheim got off to a great start. Kasha scored in the first minute of the play.
Yeah.
And
I think it was a breakaway goal.
yeah, it was beautiful.
Nice.
And then Henrique scored for them. But then Arizona came along. Ekman Larson, Fisher.
Good to see Arizona show some resilience, though. Come back.
Yeah. Nick Schmaltz got the overtime winner.
He did.
Very good.
Gibson was not pleased.
He was not pleased.
He was not pleased.
There might have been some wood broken there.
Yeah, he was angry at his defenseman, I believe.
Yeah.
Because the defenseman took the goal. He took the guy with the puck. The defenseman took the other guy on the 2-on-1, and the other guy scored. That should not happen.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's going to score, it should be the guy with the puck because there's just him and the goalie.
The defenseman's job is to prevent that cross pass.
Exactly, and it didn't happen. So
Oops.
yeah, he was pissed.
Yep.
The last game was the Vancouver-Calgary game.
Yeah.
Good old-fashioned Canadian matchup. Vancouver won 3-2. Calgary was, like I said before, 64 in the dot, 33 shots, but just a crappy OT mistake. Two guys took one guy in front of the net and left what's his nuts open. I don't even remember who it was now.
Got the winner?
Yeah.
Goldobin. Was that the one where Goldobin got a breakaway?
No. It was right. It was like a 2-on-2 kind of, and then but two of the defenders took the one player. I don't know who scored the goal. I forget. Too much hockey, too much going on in my head.
Yeah, I'm having trouble reading my own notes here. This is a game,
That
too.
comes with age.
Oh. There was an early whistle that prevented a goal from counting. There was a case where, I forget exactly the circumstances, but the goalie was down and the puck was clearly not covered.
Mm-hmm.
The whistle went, and then the puck went in the net. And it looked like a good goal, or should have been a good goal. But one thing that I noticed later on is that there was a delayed penalty at the time, too.
Oh.
And I think what the referee, never saw the explanation, but I think what the referee was doing is waiting until the penalized team touched the puck on the delayed penalty and then had to blow it dead.
Right.
And the team that touched the puck wasn't the scoring team; it was the defending team. But I don't know if they ever had possession, but the puck did go sideways,
Okay.
and I could see how the referee would have thought, "Okay, they've just cleared the puck. I'm going to blow the whistle," even though the puck isn't covered by the goalie. So I think that was a bit of confusion in that game last night, but it turned out the way it should have. So.
Yeah, so that wraps up all the games. I think we said, go ahead.
Yeah, just both of Calgary's goals were shorthanded, both of them.
I didn't know that.
It's kind of neat. Yeah. Anyway,
Boston led in a shorthanded goal in their game for like the 8th time this season. It's a bad trend to have, but
Yeah.
the only game today is Vegas and Arizona. I think we mentioned that earlier in the podcast.
Yep.
So that's weird. That's weird to only have one game on today.
It is weird.
But it's almost good in a way because for us East Coast guys, there's probably a lot of people just like us who don't get to see these West Coast teams very much. And when that's the only game on, it gives us a great opportunity to see those teams and some of those players that we never get to see. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's
good
good.
stuff.
Some good hockey happening out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
As far as streaks go, do you know what the streaks are?
I don't.
Winnipeg, 5 in a row.
Boom.
No, sorry, not Winnipeg. Did I say Winnipeg?
You did.
I don't know why I said Winnipeg. Tampa Bay, 5 in a row. Pittsburgh, 5 in a row. Washington, 4 in a row. The Islanders, 3 in a row. On the losing side, we've got Nashville with 6, Edmonton with 5 losses in a row, and Ottawa with 4 losses in a row.
Wow. Colorado with 4, too.
What?
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me guess. You're looking on ESPN.
Yeah. But they call a loss, even an overtime loss or a shootout loss.
Yeah.
They call that a loss. So.
All right.
All right.
I'll trust it, I guess. My players of the week, want to take any guesses?
No.
Okay. I'll just continue. I actually have 2 because they have the exact same stats.
Okay.
Patrick Kane and Matthew Barzal both have played 3 games this week. Both have 5 goals. Both have 2 assists, 7 points. And not only were the goals that they scored, let me reword that. Not only did they put up a lot of points, but the goals that they scored were very important goals. Barzal got that hat trick. Patrick Kane got the OT winner.
The overtime winner. Yep.
So these are big, important goals. I had to split the difference there and give them both the player of the week. Now, my goalie of the week. Should I ask you if you want to guess, or should I just continue?
No, I'll try to guess.
All right.
Vasilevsky.
Negative.
I'm always wrong, so that's why I don't guess.
Robin Lehner.
Oh, yes.
3 games played, 3 wins, .985 save percentage, 0.39 goals against average.
Yeah, I can see how you arrive at him.
Those are extremely impressive numbers from Robin Lehner.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Good
That's
for
good stuff.
him.
I would have never predicted that I would have had Robin Lehner of my goalie of the week.
Ever again.
And that's actually all the notes I have. I know you want to talk about some international hockey, so take it
There's
away.
a bit of international hockey going on, and I think it's important to draw some attention to it. The Spengler Cup and the World Juniors are both taking place. The Spengler Cup being played in Europe, those games are happening in the late morning, mid-afternoon period for us, which is great. And the downside is the fact the World Juniors are being played in Victoria and Vancouver on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And because they want primetime viewing, I guess, for Canadian fans to watch games, Canada is always on the late game.
Yeah. So
it doesn't start until 9 p.m. our time. And on a weekend, that's fine. We're used to that. But on a weeknight, if you're a working person, you get up at
5:45 a.m.
Yeah, and you're gone an hour later. You're on the road. In my case, I'm up at around the same time, 5:45, 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. Sorry, when I get up. So if there's a game that goes and starts at 9 p.m., it's going to be at least 2.5 hours. And now you're looking at 11:30.
Yeah.
And if there's any overtime or shenanigans, then it goes even later than that. So it's not easy. I really like it when the World Juniors are also being played in Europe. And I'm just trying to think about what the Europeans would... They'd almost have to go to bed and get up early to watch the games because it would make more sense for them to do that. Because 9 p.m. in Vancouver... 9 p.m. our time, which is 5 p.m. in Vancouver...
Yep.
would be an additional 4 hours or 5, depending what part of Europe you're talking about. So
it's like 1 a.m. or something.
It's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then the game goes till 3:30 a.m. You may as well have an early nap and then get up and watch the game.
Exactly.
So I feel bad for European fans, but it's going to happen somewhere.
They're used to it by now.
They're poor people. They are used to it. The Spengler Cup, though, is on their own time, which is great.
Yes.
And it's early for us, but we can handle early because there's this beautiful thing called a PVR. It's essentially a time machine in a box, and you can watch the game whenever you want to, no matter when it happened. Although you can't watch the game before it happened. That's the unfortunate
That's a
part.
bit of an impossibility at this point.
The Spengler Cup, it has 6 teams altogether, and they're now down to 4.
I thought 3.
4. There's 3 teams in each division. Over in the Toriani division, there's Kuopio and Metallurg Magnitogorsk and HC Trinix from the Czech Republic. On the Katyni division, there's Canada, HC Davos, and the other team, Ice Tigers, Nuremberg Ice Tigers. Excuse me. Based on round-robin play, only 4 teams make it into the semifinals. So Canada played the Nuremberg Ice Tigers earlier today and won that game fairly handily. And as we're making this taping right now, Kalpa Kuopio is playing taping, yeah.
I know.
It's not tape anymore.
It's
I
funny.
understand.
It's just because I say that stuff too.
Yeah.
Like that's how we know you're old, I guess.
We're taping. We're filming.
Filming,
There's no
yeah.
film involved.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're digitizing this. Playing HC Davos, and the winner of that game faces Canada early tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Early, 7 a.m. our time tomorrow morning for the final. And it's a working day for both of us. So it's going to be PVR'd. I'm going to try to not pay attention to the
It's going to be tough for me.
the score. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll try.
So you're home in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be home as
I'll be
early
home
as I
around
can
1.
be. Yeah, I'll be a little bit later than that, but I'll try to sneak home too. Anyway, this is to me the coolest thing about the Spengler Cup, and maybe you can tell the story about the jersey that we got in a mail time a couple of months ago.
Yeah. So it's probably 5 or 6 months ago, I guess. Mika from Finland sent us a jersey and got it signed by a specific person, and got a picture of him signing the jersey. They met up at a cafe or something, and anyway, he sent us the jersey, and we have it here, and we're waiting to put it in a shadow box to put in the man cave.
And the box has now been acquired.
We have the box. Yeah, we just got it this past week because there was a big sale on.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we were waiting for, and kind of a coincidence because his team is in the Spengler Cup, and he scored an extremely important goal.
Did he ever?
In overtime a couple of days ago. It was a very nice goal as well.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. It's the exact same player.
His name is Tommy Jokinen. He's the captain of the Kalplik-Kuopio team. And it was a scoreless game for all 3 regulation periods, and then there was overtime. And I said to your mother when we were watching the game, I said, wouldn't it be neat if he was somehow involved? Because we have his jersey, he has signed it. He's even aware of us and the fact that we're putting it in a box, I believe.
Yeah, he wants to see pictures of it.
He wants to see pictures of it. And here he is playing from across the ocean. We're watching the game, and he scores the overtime winner to put them into the semifinal.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Cool stuff. I tweeted a picture at him. So
yeah. So that's Tommy Jokinen. If you're able to watch the game today, or if you watched it today, he was wearing number 42 for Kalpa.
Yeah.
And so that's great. The game starts at 3 p.m. our time or 2 p.m. Eastern time. So by the time you see this broadcast, it will have already been played, and I will have already watched it. I'm really hoping for them. I'm really pulling for them.
Absolutely.
And even when they're playing against Canada, I might be pulling for them.
Whoa.
I want to see him do well.
Uh-oh.
I want to see Tommy Jokinen get a Spengler Cup.
It's always nice to cheer for the underdog. And they would be the underdog in that situation. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be upset.
So I think I'll be cheering for them, actually, if they get through. If
Canada's
they don't,
won 3 in a row. It's
and Canada, it's one of these. Canada puts a bunch of ringers together. All the other 5 teams in the Spengler Cup are club teams from their respective leagues: the DEL, the Swiss League, the Finnish League, and they come together. The KHL had a team, Magnitogorsk, so they all play. But Canada is essentially an all-star team made up of players that don't play in any league together. They play as individuals, and then they come together to make up Team Canada. And I don't know that it's horribly fair to the other teams to put all these superstars on one team. But
I don't
anyway,
call them superstars. But
well,
Kevin Bieksa ain't no superstar. But
maybe I went a little far with my adjective there.
Yeah, Torrey Mitchell, Lapierre. Not that these guys aren't good players; they're very good
players.
They just ain't superstars.
Well, McFlicker.
Oh, McFlicker.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
He can score.
Anyway, the Spengler Cup is a lot of fun to watch.
It's good hockey.
It's really good hockey, played by men who...
What?
Well, no, it's just these guys are on the tail end of their careers.
Why did you have to specify men?
Well, they're playing for the love of the game. They're
Yeah, but why did you specify men?
I like women's hockey too, but men as opposed to boys is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
These are anyway.
These are established players who have had NHL careers for a while, or not NHL, hockey careers for a while.
Hockey careers of various leagues, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the World Juniors, there are 5 teams in each division, or group. Group A has Canada, Russia, Switzerland, Czech Republic, and Denmark. Group B has Sweden, the USA, Finland, Kazakhstan, and Slovakia. So they play each other. There's 4 regular round-robin games. And based on their seeding, there's a playoff picture and a crossover and all of that. That's yet to happen. But right now, I'm just still blown away. When you got home this morning from your own hockey event this morning, you asked me if I'd watched a whole lot of hockey, and I've watched a truckload of hockey in the last couple of days. The best hockey I've seen, I've watched NHL, I've watched Spengler, I've watched hockey from every direction, was the USA-Sweden World Junior game last night.
Yeah, you were telling me about this earlier.
It was amazing. Sweden got off to a 4-0 lead, and then the USA came back, roared back in the third period, including 2 late goals with the goalie pulled by Ryan Poehling, a Montreal Canadiens draft pick, thank God, and the USA tied it 4-4 and forced overtime.
I regretfully have not seen a second of that game.
It was,
or any highlights.
I saved it on the PVR. It's really that good. You should watch it. Sweden has had 40 up to this point, 46 straight wins in round robin play of the World Juniors, going back to the last time they lost in 2006 to the Americans, and ever since they have won 46 straight games. So that record was on the line last night. Sweden scored in overtime to secure the victory, They got 2 points instead
intense.
of 3. It was very intense. What a game to watch, especially the third period. It was unbelievable. It was so good.
Who were you cheering for?
I wanted Sweden to keep their streak alive.
Yeah.
Plus, I picked Sweden to win the tournament.
You did, yes. And I picked the United States.
Yeah. So I was cheering for Sweden there a little bit too. But I wanted individual players to do well. I wanted Ryan Poehling to do well.
Right.
And he did very well. And also, the assist on the game-winning overtime goal was by Jakob Olsson, who is a second-round draft pick of the Montreal Canadiens as well.
We have invested interests on both sides.
We do. I want to see both these players do well.
Yeah.
And only one of them could win last night, and it was Sweden. The last loss, New Year's Eve 2006. So that's
a long time. That's 12 years.
That's a long. As of tomorrow, that'll be 12 years ago.
Yeah.
That's since the last time Sweden has lost a round-robin game. Phenomenal.
That streak will probably never be broken.
I can't imagine it ever will
Yeah.
be broken. Over those years, Sweden's a very powerful hockey nation.
Yeah.
And good for them. They looked really strong last night.
Scary.
They did let up a bit and let the Americans back in the game, but the Americans kind of forced their way back in the game too. So it was really good. Excellent. And Poehling actually ended up with 3 goals in that game. The 2 he scored, but plus the 1 he had scored earlier, so he got a hat trick. Very nice.
Anything else?
There's very little going on today. Kazakhstan playing Slovakia. I think that's the only game that's happening. So it's one that'll be on. The loser of that is gone. The winner of that goes into the playoffs. So it's a pretty important game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That was it. The only other thing I had about hockey was just back to the NHL. As you know, I try to work up the virtual playoff matchups as they are right now.
Right. Can I hit you with just a quick
Sure.
something that's completely off topic, but someone texted it to me, and it's funny.
Okay.
So someone sent me a screenshot from their Facebook, and there's an article that someone posted, and it says, every McDonald's touchscreen, because you can go into McDonald's now and order your stuff on the touchscreen.
Mm-hmm.
Every McDonald's touchscreen in study tests positive for fecal bacteria.
Now, we don't know if that's true or not. Standard legal disclaimer. You're just reading a text.
Yeah, but I use those screens when I order.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I think that you'll find similar studies show that a phone is one of the most likely places that you will find fecal coliform bacteria.
Yeah, because people take their phones in when they go poo-poo.
Yeah. But what they don't do is put the phone away until they're finished their sink duty.
Do you say sink duty?
Sink
or
duty.
Stink duty?
The sink duty comes after the stink duty.
Oh, okay, right.
But there's always has to be sink duty.
Stink duty.
There has to be sink duty after your duty.
Yeah.
Hashtag
what?
duty. Anyway,
go ahead with whatever you're talking about.
what was I? Oh, yes, the NHL playoffs. Right now, if the playoffs were to begin today, understanding, of course, that not all the teams have played an equal number of games and so on, the Washington Capitals would play the Boston Bruins.
Prediction?
Wow, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Boston is a very, very good team. I'm not sure what the situation is for Washington's goaltending, but they've been doing great with Copley.
Yes, they have.
He's been outstanding for them.
And Halak's been great for Boston.
And he's been great for Boston.
That's a goaltending matchup series.
And Rask is back now.
Yeah.
And we'll soon have
What are you doing?
I'm just being an old guy dropping
What do you need?
Washington's main goalie.
Holtby?
That's right, Braden Holtby.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Rhett from Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah.
Right on. So that's who would play. I don't know who'd win that, but I would almost put a little bit of money on Boston for that one.
Yeah, you'd have to consider it for sure.
Blue Jackets would play Pittsburgh.
Again.
Again. Maple Leafs would still play Buffalo, which I think has
That'd
been
be
the
an
case
awesome
for the
series.
last. That would be amazing.
Awesome
Love to see that. And of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning would probably take the tar out of Montreal.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's not good. In the West, right now, the Winnipeg Jets would play Dallas.
That'd be great. Great matchup. Good matchup.
Every team stays in its own division here. Unlike the East, in the West, Winnipeg would play Dallas. Nashville would play Colorado.
Okay, so a matchup from last year.
Yeah.
A rematch.
And out in the Pacific, Calgary would play Anaheim.
Oh,
Here we go.
no.
Here we go. And the Sharks would play the Vegas Golden Knights, who are
Again.
back in the playoffs with a proper seed. 48 points right now. They're only 2 points out of first place. They're only 2 points behind Calgary. Although they've got Calgary's got a game or two in hand. But anyway, amazing.
It is amazing.
Amazing. Well done.
Did you say all four?
I did. Calgary, Anaheim, San Jose, Vegas.
Dallas, Winnipeg, Nashville, Colorado. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
I did.
All right. You have one last thing to discuss, I believe.
I do. Your mother's very creative. And what she likes to do is not go and do what I would do as a man, go to the drugstore and buy a Christmas card. Your mother makes the Christmas card. And she did what I think is a great job. This sat on our tree, for several days. I probably can't get too close with it.
I'll take a photo of it
All right.
and post it in the video.
All right. So Neil's going to take a photo of it and post it in the video. But it basically says goat. I have acquired the nickname goat from some of you, although I don't believe I am goat worthy. I roll with it.
Is there supposed to be something in this?
Yes, I have it here.
Oh, okay, good.
So I do roll with it. But what your mother also likes to do is not only design the card, which is lovely, she also finds or adapts a poem. He won't be hanging stockings up. He won't be baking pies. He won't be looking up to see if Santa's in the skies. He will be ranting hockey, though, a camera angle wrong, a dangling puck, a bang of glass, an off-key hockey song. And so to keep our own goat sane, we'll give him Habs success with goal-filled nets and scores that sing not Bob Cole's voice of mess. And I love that. That's great.
Cool. It's funny.
And then she writes a little personal note that's a little on the mushy side, so I won't get into that part. But love the card.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So that basically wraps up this podcast. I have no idea how long it's been. I have not been keeping track. So
It's been about an hour and 15 minutes, I would say.
15 minutes. Okay. Well, we're going to go, or I'm going to go edit this and get this out. And
Get it out.
You're probably going to go watch hockey or soccer or something.
I'm going to go watch. Soccer's done. Manchester United won again today. Third game in a row since they got their new manager.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah.
And they're doing very well. So I'm very happy about that. No, when I go, we're already PVRing an in-progress game, which is the Spengler Cup other semifinal, which involves Kuopio playing Davos. So I'm going to be watching that.
If you're available later on tonight, then I'd like to film some videos, but otherwise, we'll be watching hockey.
Right on.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening and watching. We really appreciate it. If you are watching on YouTube, hope you can hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. If you're listening on iTunes or Google Play Music or whatever podcatcher you use, we appreciate that. If you have the availability to leave us a review, if that's even an option on how you're listening, we would appreciate that as well. That helps us a lot. So thank you very much for your continued support, and hope you're watching lots of NHL hockey, international hockey, and you had a good Christmas, and hope you have a good upcoming New Year. All the best.
Happy New Year.